Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Go straight to the phone lines and talk to Sarah, who's in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, Sarah, what's going on?
Hi. I'm trying to determine if we are going to have to go on Wick, which is the Children's Government Help.
Uh-huh.
I've cut everything I can possibly cut from our budget, but our grocery bill, even though I buy only what we need, is just, with inflation, we're just having to dip into our savings, and it's getting a little low.
Okay. Tell me more. What's in your savings? Oh, go ahead.
I was just calling to see if there's any other suggestions.
Probably. Let's dig deeper. So you said you're digging into your savings. So how much do you have in your savings?
At this point, we're down to $5,000.
Okay, so we've got $5,000 saved. Do you have a debt? I'm guessing yes.
We have our house and one car.
Okay, what do you owe on the one car?
$11,000.
Okay, $11,000 on that car. And is it your only car, or do you have two vehicles?
We have two. The other one's paid off.
Okay, great.
What's your annual income?
36 before taxes.
Okay.
Oh, well, there's our problem. Annual income 36. There's two of you. Who's working and who's not?
My husband works full time. I stay home with our two sons.
Okay. How old are the two sons?
2 and 2 months.
Okay. So there's no daycare. You're the daycare.
Yes.
Okay. 2 and 2 months. Okay. And are you doing anything to bring in additional? I mean, obviously you're contributing big time to the household. Are you doing anything financially?
We've looked at some options, but I am not a born salesperson.
Sure.
So selling from my house is not really a good option.
What about like
And
customer
we've looked at
service?
some
Something you could do in the evening on the phone?
I've kind of looked at it briefly, but I haven't really delved into it too much.
Okay.
I've never done anything like that with my, I've never done that. So.
And just to get cleared, I'm asking lots of questions because I want to see the situation. Your husband, does he work like crazy hours, or is he kind of like 9 to 5?
At the moment, he works from 7 to 3:30.
Okay.
And then we're also a military family, so he's gone with that as well.
Okay. And how often is he gone?
At least once a month.
For how long?
A weekend.
Okay.
If he has to do more training, then it could be up to a month.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a picture of the situation. My first thought is like, okay, you guys' income is super low. And when I see a super low income, my first thought is, how can we get it higher? So is he capped off in any way? I mean, he's in the military. Is he able to go out and do more work? I see a place for you to do more work based off the schedule and kind of what you laid out. But I'm also wondering about your husband.
Right now, he's trying to get a promotion to a different position within the company he works for. If he does that, then we'll be set. If he doesn't get it, then we just can't sustain this.
What does set mean?
I'm just trying to figure out. He would go from 36 to about 90.
90? Okay, yeah, that's a nice
quite the
jump.
promotion.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a different job entirely, but it's within the same department. But we won't really know anything if he's going to get that job until either March or April.
What I feel is that you guys are kind of waiting. What I feel is that
we're kind of waiting. We're trying to figure out what to do, but I'm also trying to figure out how to not have no money.
Right, but
and get to a point. If he doesn't get the job, I don't want to be just completely strapped.
I see, based on what you laid out, a house that's on fire. Like the flames they're kissing the roof. Like it's on there. But when I asked about the urgency of earning income, I didn't sense the urgency. It's kind of like, oh, I looked in something, but I'm not a salesperson. And he has this, but that. And in a situation like this, if I'm being truly honest, Sarah, like you guys don't have the ability to sit on your hands whatsoever. Like when you're in this situation, it's like any job's a good job. Any job's a good job until I get the job, right? And I think that's what you're going to have to embrace is you're in a situation where you're not earning enough to, when I say you're, I mean you and your husband collectively are not earning enough to support your family. Thank goodness you've got this $5,000 there. But like you said, to your point, you're going to keep burning through that if we don't today decide I'm going to get a job. Like, I'm going to get a job until I get the job. And for you, that's why I'm asking. I'm like, okay, he's not working crazy. If he's home at 3:30, boy,
he's going right back.
He's going back
work.
right
Kiss
back
the
out.
kids and go back out.
Or you're going out. Somebody's going to work.
He's coming back home, and then he's doing military stuff.
That's unpaid?
Okay, then you're going to work.
No.
When the kids go to sleep.
Is he getting paid overtime?
No.
So he's making 36 grand working over 40 hours a week?
When he gets home, he's doing military stuff, and that's...
Listen, something about this has to shake loose. Something about this has to shake loose.
What's left on this car loan?
11.
I think this car can go. Do you guys need 2 cars right now?
Yes, because when he's gone, I would be without transportation.
To like a doctor's appointment, grocery store, can you go out once he's home?
Well, like when he's gone, because as
can we sell it and downgrade to a 5,000 car?
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated. Here's where we're at. Whatever you look for, you'll find. All right, Sarah. And right now, I don't think you want to find the solution. I think you want to go on Wick, and I think you want that to be the solution. And it doesn't matter what George or I says. For you, what we're hearing back right now is, no, that won't work. And I can't do that because of this. And nope, can't do that. Listen, then stay in debt. Right? If you don't want to take any of the advice, then the option is I stay in debt and I go on Wick. You have to look at both sides of this equation, or you can embrace doing something very unconventional for you, very different, very outside your norm, very outside your comfort zone, and then you get to where you truly want to go, which is out of a stressful place with money, out of borrowing from your savings every single month in order to make ends meet. But you have to be willing to accept the solution. George and I can give solutions till we're blue in the face. But if you don't want to actually accept them and embrace the suck and actually go out and do it, then go on Wick. Obviously, if you call this show, we're going to give you advice. You're never going to call this show and us go, oh, well, there's nothing you can do. We're never going to say that to you. We're never going to say your situation is hopeless. We're never going to tell you there's nothing that you can do and, well, just depend on the government. You're never, ever going to get that answer from us. So don't be surprised when what we tell you to do sounds a lot like work. It's going to sound a lot like you getting out of your comfort zone. It's going to sound a lot like you embracing a different philosophy, possibly surrounding your life and your money. And listen, get excited about that because the option is staying the way you were. And so it leads me, George, to an observation that I've made, and you can see if sometimes you fall into this camp if you're listening, but sometimes people would rather be right than happy.
Oh, well, I always want to, this is what I secretly want to ask the caller. Are you looking for confirmation or do you actually want help?
She wants to be right that I shouldn't say this. Some callers want to be right that there's no way out. There's nothing to do. Then be happy and embrace the fact that we're giving you an answer that's going to lead you to peacefulness, more happiness, less stress. But if you'd rather be right that there's no way out, then be right.
Well, it's like that friend who likes to vent and complain to you. And I think the healthy thing to ask that friend before they start on one of their rants is go, do you want me to just listen or do you want solutions? And if you just want me to listen, you vent, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
We can waste some time. But if you're looking for solutions, I'll give them to you if you're actually wanting that.
Yeah.
So I think that happens with callers a lot. And when I know they're not going to take the advice, Jade, here's when I call it getting wailed because they go, well, and I go, oh, whatever's on the other side of that, well, is going to be a justification, an excuse of why they can't. And what happened, what riled you up is that we just kept hitting wall after wall after wall. And I'm like, these are things that you and I have both done. It's not even hypothetical. When we didn't have enough money, we just went and got more jobs.
That's right. And I think something, we can kind of hear it in your calls. I love the book. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And it's about negotiating, but he talks about this concept that takes place when you're negotiating with somebody where they move from just saying, yes, I know, to that's right. And what happens is a lot of times you guys, we have folks call on the show and they're kind of used to our principles. And maybe somewhere in their head, they're like, yeah, that's right. I probably should live on, yes, I should live on less than I make, or yeah, I should budget, or, yeah, there might be a way for me to do better in this situation. But when you mentally move to the point of that is right, not just me agreeing and going, yes, but when you go, that's right, I do need to get a job. Yeah, that's right. I can make a better use of my time. That's right. I am being a little bit lazy. That is right. That's when you start to see that mental shift in.
That's huge.
Because you're accepting that this is the right way to go forward and it's an accurate depiction of what's going on, as opposed to you just going, yeah. Because that's basically, it's basically the same thing, George.
Well, a lot of people, Jade, on these calls, they'll paint themselves into a corner and they'll go, well, I have two crappy options. It's either I withdraw from my 401k, or I stay in debt forever, or I move the debt around. I'm going, there's option C and D and E and F, but they have a limited vocabulary. They only know the two letters of the alphabet. There's A and B. And so we can't see it like that. There's so many more options out there, but you got to be willing.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to amputate the Tahoe, as Dave has said, for 30 years, and sell the car and get the second job and maybe move to a cheaper area, or downgrade in house, or sell the house. Or maybe you go to work and put the kids in daycare because you can make more money doing that.
Listen,
even if it's not ideal.
It's almost like, you go to the doctor for your checkup, right? And they're like, listen, your triglycerides are high, your cholesterol is high. If you don't change your diet, you're putting yourself at risk for a heart attack or stroke. And in the moment, you're like, and they're telling you all these things that you can do to lower your cholesterol, to lower your, to make yourself a healthier person. But in your mind, you're going, oh man, if I have to give up red meat, or man, if I have to pull back on the salt intake, and you're looking at all the negatives and how it's going to feel in a moment if you have to make those adjustments. And most of us, we just go away and go in the moment in the doctor's office, we're going, yeah, I know, I need to do this. But it's not until we hit that moment, you have that health scare, you have that moment that you're like, oh my gosh, he was right. That's right. I do need to make these changes. And so it's almost like, George, sometimes people really do have to hit that rock bottom moment, or like we call it here, that I've had it moment, that it's like, listen,
Jay just wants to call me back when you're ready.
Yeah, call me back when you're ready.
Really ready to change. And
when you hit rock bottom. Ooh, so good, George.
Good stuff.
And let me just say, because I just want to say this, if we ever take some time and really come back and talk about a situation, or we had to give her a little bit of tough love there. We love you guys. We truly care about you. I'm never gonna, deliver the paddle just out of fun. It's truly, I want you to get this. I don't want her to go on Wick. I want her to get control of her money and be able to look back on this moment and go that was the catalyst. That was the moment that changed everything. And I want her to come back here and be on the debt-free stage. All of us just simply want the best for you. We want you to have a stress-free life with your money. We want you to be able to live and give like no one else. We want you to be able to experience the same peace that we experienced from walking through the baby steps and changing our whole perspective and how we view money. We want you to experience that. So that's what the show is all about. Don't ever get it twisted and think, well, they're just being mean or they're just yelling at her. It's never that. And I hope that you can see that in our heart and the way that comes across.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.